Your phone buzzes. You look, nothing important. You look again 10 minutes later anyway. You know this feeling. Everyone does. But the real answer is far stranger than a badly designed app. It's older than smartphones, older than the internet, older than agriculture. It's a wiring pattern that was built into you long before anyone knew what a screen was. And it's been quietly running your life ever since. Think about the last time you checked your phone for no reason at all. Nothing was buzzing. Nothing had changed. You just looked out of habit, out of something you couldn't quite name. That impulse feels modern. It isn't. To understand where it comes from, you have to go back. Not to your childhood, not to your grandparents. Back to a savanna hundreds of thousands of years ago, where a human ancestor is standing very still. She has just heard a sound in the grass. It might be nothing. It might be a predator. She doesn't know yet. And that not knowing is the most dangerous part. Her brain doesn't wait for certainty. It reacts to the possibility. A flood of attention, of readiness, of pure focused alertness rises in her chest before she has any idea what's actually there. That response kept her alive. And it's still inside you. Here's where it gets strange. In 1957, a psychologist named B.F. Skinner ran a series of experiments on pigeons. He gave them a lever, press it, and sometimes a food pellet would drop. Not every time. Randomly. The pigeons that got a pellet every single press eventually got bored. They pressed when they were hungry and stopped when they were full. But the pigeons on the random schedule never stopped. They pressed the lever obsessively, constantly, long after they were full, long after it made any sense. Uncertainty, it turned out, was more addictive than certainty ever could be. Skinner called it variable reinforcement. You call it your phone. Every time you unlock that screen, you're pressing the lever. Sometimes there's a message that matters. Sometimes there's nothing. You never know which one it'll be until you look. And that not knowing is doing exactly what it did for the pigeons, and exactly what it did for your ancestor in the grass. But why does uncertainty feel so much stronger than a reward itself? Wouldn't a guaranteed prize feel better than a maybe? This is where the neuroscience gets genuinely surprising. In the 1990s, a researcher named Wolfram Schultz recorded the activity of dopamine neurons in monkeys as they learned to expect a reward after a specific cue. What he found upended decades of assumptions. Dopamine wasn't firing when the reward arrived. It was firing before, during the moment of anticipation, during the uncertain gap between the cue and the outcome. Once the monkeys learned the reward was guaranteed, the dopamine response for the reward itself actually dropped. The chemical wasn't about pleasure, it was about the chase. The neuroscientist Robert Sapolsky later built on this idea, showing that dopamine spikes are highest not when a reward is certain, but when there's roughly a 50% chance of it. Your brain isn't built to reward you for getting things. It's built to reward you for wanting things. Now think about your phone again. Every notification is a maybe. Every refresh of a feed is a maybe. You are not checking it because you're addicted to the reward. You're checking it because you're addicted to the wanting. There's a second layer to this, and it's even older than reward chemistry. Humans are, more than almost any other species on Earth, dependent on their social group to survive. For most of human history, being cut off from your tribe wasn't an inconvenience. It was a death sentence. No protection, no shared food, no help raising children. Alone meant vulnerable. So evolution built something into you to prevent that. A kind of social radar, constantly scanning for your status, your connections, whether you're still safely inside the group. The psychologist John Cacioppo spent decades studying this system, and he described loneliness itself as a biological alarm. Not a mood. A signal as real and as urgent as hunger or thirst, telling you that your connection to others is at risk and needs immediate attention. Your phone plugs directly into that ancient alarm system. A message means someone thought of you. A like means you're seen. A silence means somewhere in the oldest part of your brain, a flicker of the same fear your ancestors felt when they were separated from the group at nightfall. You're not checking your phone because you're weak-willed. You're checking it because a system built for survival on the savanna is now running on a piece of glass in your pocket, and it doesn't know the difference between a predator in the grass and a text that hasn't arrived yet. Here's the part that should unsettle you a little. This system was never designed to be triggered constantly. Your ancestor heard a sound in the yard,